It is certainly Valentine's Day weekend, but there will be no love lost between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns in the main event come Saturday night at UFC 258. And that's why we're here. Welcome into another edition of Combat Coach featuring my man Ian Parker. So many of you have become VIP members. For those of you who are not, come to Coach Picks. Sign up for our newsletter. You're going to get all the breakdowns, all the news, all the videos, all the shows. And then if you choose to be a VIP member, you'll get all of our premium picks from Ian Parker and then myself also on the golf side. But here on this show, in 20 minutes or less, we break down every fight on the card. It's not necessarily what Ian is betting, but what he picks, because that's a different thing in MMA. Ian, this is a big week. We're back on the UFC pay-per-view. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I don't like these big breaks, so I'm amped to get back to work. Let's go.
That's right. Every week there's going to be a show now because now football is over and we take center stage. Let's jump right in. Let's start with the prelims today. Miranda Maverick, minus 145. And again, we get all of our numbers, all of our matchups from mybookie.ag. Use a promo code, Coach Picks, and get a 50% reload up to $1,000. Jillian Robertson on the other side, plus 115. The over 2.5 coming in at minus 170. The under 2.5 coming back at plus 140. For this flyweight matchup, how do you see it?
We got the rookie prospect versus Jillian Robinson, the veteran here. If Jillian Robinson can't get this fight to the ground, she's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think Miranda Maverick is just way stronger, better athlete, and the way better striker. I'm going Miranda Maverick here.
All right, very good. All right, second on the prelim card, Gabriel Green, minus 140. This is a welterweight matchup. Philip Rowe, plus 110. The over 2.5 coming in at plus 100. The under 2.5 coming back at 130. What do you like?
Yeah, based on that, someone's probably going to sleep, right? I'm going to lean Gabriel Green here. I just think he's got more power, and I think he's the better striker.
All right. Brian Kelleher, next up, featherweights, plus 185, taking on Ricky Simone, minus 240. Now, the over 2.5 coming back at a robust minus 250. The under 2.5 comes in at plus 195. What do you see here?
As much as Brian Kelleher is my boy, and I love to root for him here, I just think Ricky Simone is just a better fighter. He's more well-rounded. I think he's going to be faster. He pushes an insane pace, takedowns for days, and I think he'll be able to grind out a win. So I will go with Ricky Simone.
Being how it's such a big number, we always try to educate here on Combat Coach as well. It's minus 240. There's going to be a lot of people that just don't want to lay that. What do you recommend for those people?
For someone like Ricky Simone at minus 240, I understand why it'll be a tough pill to swallow to lay 240 to win $100. So I would probably throw him in a parlay with a few other big favorites. By doing that, either you're going to make it even money, so you're maximizing value out of the heavy guys, or you'll even get plus money with the right bets, especially in this card. You got a lot of guys that are in the mid plus twos, even to the low plus threes. Rope them together, get plus odds. Thank me later.
All right, up next, Andre Ewell, plus 105, taking on Chris Gutierrez. This is a catch weight at 140 pounds. Interesting. The over 2.5 coming back at minus 200. The under 2.5 comes in at plus 160. How do you like this one?
I like Gutierrez here. I just think his kicks are going to go a long way in this fight. I think Ewell's a little sloppy when he comes forward. He telegraphs his shots, and also his gas tank tends to run out pretty early, and Gutierrez just doesn't stop. So let me take the favorite in this one.
All right, next up, it's the ladies. Strawweights. Pauliana Vieira, plus 120. Hopefully I said that right. And Mallory Martin, minus 150. Over 2.5, minus 220. The under 2.5 coming back at plus 180. What do you like?
Vieira's coming off a nice little submission win over Emily Whitmire. But, in this fight, Mallory Martin's going to be the better wrestler. I think she's going to be physically stronger. She always presses against the cage, gets the fight to the ground. As long as Mallory doesn't leave her head in there for a guillotine, I think she'll probably grind this one out. And I also think she's the better striker. So I hate to play chalky here, but I like Mallory Martin in this fight.
That's all right. When you cash tickets, nobody cares about chalk. That's what I always like to say. All right, next up, Diego Lima, plus 365, taking on Bilal Muhammad. And on this show, this is a guy that's very close to some of our hearts, Cody Mero. Minus 490. Are you serious? For these welterweights, both guys, though, come in, Ian, on a 3-fight winning streak. The over 2.5 at minus 245. The under 2.5 plus 205. What does that say to you?
I love Bilal as a person, and I think he wins here. Look, you have a striker versus grappler situation going on, but Bilal's striking has clearly showed some evolution in his last fight against Lyman Good, who was supposed to be the better striker. Diego Lima struggles against grapplers. He also struggles against guys that push the pace, and Bilal can do that here. Known for his cardio. Minus 500 is a little rough. Even with a parlay, I don't know what the type of odds you're going to get. So I'm going to kind of switch it up here. Take Bilal Muhammad to win by decision.
Okay. Very good. And for those of you who are new again to MMA betting, when you go into your book, you can pick a guy to win by a certain way: decision, TKO, KO, submission, to bring the odds way down. But it's got to be winning by that specific kind. So I love that decision to bet on Bilal for a decision. Okay, next up, Anthony Hernandez, plus 300, taking on Rodolfo Vieira. Another one of these high odd guys at minus 380 for the middleweights. Over 1.5 here, plus 120. The under 1.5 coming back at minus 150. What do you see in this fight?
You have a decent striker versus one of the best jiu-jitsu guys on planet Earth here. So look for Vieira and he's also just the Incredible Hulk. You see this guy, it looks like he's made out of granite. It's insane. Rodolfo Vieira is going to win here, whether he gets to the ground right away or at the end of the first round. Hernandez got knocked out pretty bad last fight by Kevin Holland. Vieira is going to win this fight. How fast he's going to do it, I don't know. Hernandez is pretty tough. The Vieira is one of those guys you got to throw in a parlay. I think minus 380 is enough to still get value when you put him with two other guys. He's going to win this one. If you even want to grab it minus for him to win by submission, I believe it's at minus 180 if I'm correct.
Okay. Minus 184 submission. Very good. All right, moving on. Mikey Patillo, plus 140, taking on Julian Marquez. And I believe now we're getting into, this is the first fight on the main card tomorrow at UFC 258. Marquez coming back at minus 170. The over is 1.5 again in this fight. Minus 170. The under 1.5 coming back at plus 140. What do you like this first fight on the main card?
Normally, I'd want to go over here, but both these guys got really good chins. Mikey Patillo, nicknamed Coconut Bomb, is one of the best nicknames I've ever heard. The only issue I have with him is he likes to get hit too much. He doesn't mind taking one to give one back, but against a guy in Julian Marquez who has cement in his hands, I don't recommend that. I also don't think Patillo has that great of a grappling game to get Marquez down. It's going to be who lands first and also whose gas tank is going to be better, and I think it's Julian Marquez. So I'm going to go with Marquez here to win.
All right, very good. Again, that's in the middleweight division. All right, next up on the main card, Jim Miller, a trusty veteran, tough as nails, plus 210, taking on Bobby Green, who's always a very popular fighter. He's coming in at minus 270. This is in the lightweight division. Over 2.5, minus 255, under 2.5 coming back at plus 200. What do you like here?
I think Bobby Green's going to get the win here. He's one of the hardest guys to take down, and Jim Miller being on top in a jiu-jitsu grappling match would have the advantage, but Green will be the better striker. He's going to have the range, and I think he wins this fight. I also don't mind taking the over here, as both guys aren't really known for finishing in two of Bobby Green's last fights, both win and loss by decision. So I like Bobby Green. I also like the over here.
All right, very good. Also likes the over. All right, next up, Ian Heintz, plus 180. This is a middleweight fight, taking on Kelvin Gastelum, who's been at the top of the division, or at least fought all the top guys, but really needs to right the ship. He comes in, though, minus 220. Vegas still loves Kelvin. Over 2.5, minus 250. Under 2.5 coming back at plus 195. The last fight for Heintz, he won in 74 seconds, but yet he's a plus 180 underdog. Tell me why.
It's about a level of competition. Who Ian Heintz just fought is not even close to who Kelvin Gastelum has fought. Gastelum had that war against Izzy Adesanya, fought against Jack Hermanson, who just fought for a contender spot. So, right now for me with Gastelum, I do think he's the play here. You can toss him in a parlay if you don't feel comfortable laying the minus 220 odds. Kelvin will be the better striker. Heintz is a very unorthodox fighter, different angles. Decent wrestler, but he gets tired pretty quickly too, and he doesn't throw a lot of combinations. He's more of a power puncher. Kelvin cannot be as hesitant as he once was or has been. He needs to get back to when he used that jab to implement his wrestling game, because once he does that, he's like a Tasmanian devil, a bulldog. He's just tough and mean. If that's the Kelvin that I'm hearing we're going to see, then Kelvin should kind of win this fight handedly. I would think by decision as well. So let me go with Gastelum. Again, the level of competition these two have fought is light years away from each other.
I am really anxious to see what kind of shape he is in. That's also been a big issue for Kelvin Gastelum, is coming in out of shape. And then when he gets in these, he's been in so many 5-round wars, I think he gasses out. I think he needs to come in with a little less body fat, and I think that could help him in a major, major way. Okay, we're down to the final two fights on the card. Macy Barber, minus 110. Alexa Grosso, minus 120. These are flyweights. Over 2.5, minus 250. Under 2.5 coming back at plus 195. What do you like?
Yeah, this is a tough one to cap, to be honest with you. Alexa Grosso is coming off a nice win, but against a lower level ranked opponent. Macy Barber is coming off a long layoff off of a torn ACL and a really bad loss to Roxanne Modafferi when Barber was like a minus 800 favorite. That was supposed to be the fight to get a veteran name on her resume. And before she got injured, Roxy was just taking it to her, outstriking her, taking her down, and there was nothing that Barber could do. So you see that there is a blueprint to beating her. The other thing, though, with Barber is she comes bull rushing in. She throws a lot of really wild hooks, powerful, tough. But Alexa Grosso is one of the more technical strikers in that division. And she has fought some of the top level fighters in the division below them. You know, she's up in weight now because of one of the weight cuts that was a little rough for her. For me, I think if Grosso could keep this on the feet, better boxing, 100%. I think she'll also have the better cardio. I'm going to go with Alexa Grosso here. I'm worried about Barber's layoff. She's a very young fighter. I think she's only 21 or 22 years old. You know, a lot of these fighters that are off for a long time, even experienced ones, develop ring rust, you know. Not all of them are Dominic Cruz that have fought forever, and it's like nothing happens. I can't, in my brain, think that Macy Barber, that young, not having much experience, knows how to handle a devastating injury like that and be able to come back against someone in Grosso who's a very good fighter. So for those reasons, I'm going Alexa Grosso.
You have to have 100% confidence in every limb, especially when you've torn an ACL like that. All right, we're up to our main event. We've been waiting for this fight for a really long time. Former training partners, no longer training partners. Kamaru Usman is the champ. He's minus 270. Gilbert Burns has looked great last year at Fight Island, and then, you know, things happened. He wasn't able to fight. He's plus 210. Of course, this is for the welterweight championship of the world. Over 4.5 in this 5-round battle, minus 140, and the under 4.5 coming back at plus 110. I'm anxious for you to break down this fight. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, first I'm going to start off with saying I like the over here. Both guys don't really get finished, and they don't finish people very often. So it kind of makes sense there. You know, also, you talk about two guys that have been training partners for a long time. So what secrets can they be bringing into this fight the other one doesn't really know? You got Burns, who's I think might be the better striker, but definitely better as a top jiu-jitsu fighter. You got Usman, who's going to be the stronger wrestler. You know, can Usman implement his clinch game and hold Gilbert against the cage for 5 rounds? Maybe. Can Gilbert get Usman down and take advantage of the jiu-jitsu game? I don't necessarily think so, because Usman's got amazing takedown defense. So for me, the over makes a ton of sense. Now, I will say this to bettors out there. If you are up money going into this fight, Gilbert Burns is worth a play at plus 210. Now, don't put the house on him, obviously, but this is one of those fights where style-wise, you know, he has shown that his cardio is pretty damn good. That fight against Tyron Woodley was super impressive. No one's done that to the former champ. Usman took him down and took him down and took him down, but no one made Woodley look as if he never fought before like Gilbert did. This is a different fighter in Gilbert. Mentally, the most confident we've ever seen him. You know, we've been hearing things about with them in sparring sessions, who's been getting the better of the two. Again, it's just sparring. So I think that Gilbert Burns has more ways to win here with his jiu-jitsu game. So he is worth a play at plus 210, but in regards to the best bet for it, over 4.5 rounds, this fight should go the distance.
All right, very good. There are so many people looking forward to this, which is why it's headlining a pay-per-view card. All right, it's time to recap all of Ian Parker's picks. Let's start with this, and I'll just rip right through them today. He likes in the first matchup, Miranda Maverick at minus 145. Then Gabriel Green, minus 140. In the Kelleher Simone put it in a parlay, minus 240, a little bit too high for most. If you don't mind laying at 240, then take Simone. Chris Gutierrez, minus 135, will wear out Andre Ewell, is what Ian says. Then Mallory Martin, minus 150 against Vieira. Then Bilal Muhammad, minus 490, way too high. So Ian says take him to win by decision, and that brings it way down to like minus 180, minus 190, much easier to handle those odds. Then Rodolfo Vieira, by submission, will bring the odds down again. He's minus 380 just to win. But again, that's really, really high. So take that for what it's worth. Then Julian Marquez, minus 170 over Patillo. Then Bobby Green, minus 270. Again, if it's too high for you, then put Bobby Green in a parlay. Over on the early edge, Ian put Bobby Green in a parlay with, who was it? Simone and also Vieira.
Rodolfo Vieira, yep.
Yeah, so that was the parlay we played on the early edge. So maybe that's something you want to play here. It comes in at plus 145 if you play those three together. Then Kelvin Gastelum. Which Kelvin Gastelum are we going to see? The in shape, nasty Kelvin Gastelum, or the one that's out of shape and will struggle to get through 3 rounds. We'll find out. He is a minus 220 play, and you say maybe throw him in a parlay as well. Alexa Grosso, you're not too high on this pick. Be careful. Minus 120, almost a coin flip in the flyweight division. And then finally, in our main event, your best bet here is the over 4.5, minus 140. You say neither guy finishes too much, and neither guy gets finished too much. And then if you're up money, which is exactly how I like to bet MMA, if I'm up at the end of the night, I like to bet on a winner. And plus 210 for Gilbert Burns, I'll take that as well. All right. You've got every pick on the card. Don't forget, sign up for our newsletter. You get all the emails, all the videos, all the education as we try to create a community of positive, fun sports bettors that you have a space that you know we're here for the winning. And a lot of people won't tell you this, but we lose too. But guess what? We win more than we lose. No capper is 100%. If they do tell you that, they're lying to you. All right, that's going to do it. We're fired up. For Cody Mara, our incredible producer, for the Doc Army, Ian Parker. You can follow him at IanParkerMMA. I'm your host, the coach. All of our lines, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Remember, every week there's a big show. Combat Coach will be here. All right, good luck on your bets. We'll see you next time, and we'll be watching with you on social media at UFC 258. Good luck.